Hey, y'all, welcome back to Mountain Murders.
Midweek.
That's right.
I'm Heather.
And I'm Dylan.
Hey, Dylan. How are you?
I am hanging out, chilling. Spring is in the air. I can smell it.
Okay?
Yeah.
Well, I always look forward to the jonquils or the daffodils, depending on what you call them.
Jonquils?
Jonquils. Jonquils.
Oh.
Yeah, the little yellow flowers that pop up in spring. Well, that's always like the sign of spring for me.
Yeah.
When I see those blooming, I know it's just around the corner.
Yeah,
Not to mention a bunch of wild onions. We apparently have a wild onion problem in our neighborhood because they're everywhere.
Well, at least we know if the shit hits the fan, we can survive in the springtime on the wild onions.
Man, when I was a kid, I was telling you this the other day. When I was a kid, I always smelled of wild onions because I would constantly play with them and put them in my witch's brew.
Yeah, you were describing your witch's brew to me.
Along with other outdoor fineries.
Mud.
Muck, yeah.
Some sticks.
A lizard.
Some bark.
Maybe a frog. Yeah.
Okay.
All that.
Were you actually trying to do spellcraft? Were you casting curses on people?
Yeah, of course.
Your rivals, your enemies?
I was an only child, okay? I didn't have a lot of friends. This was how I spent my time.
I still feel like there are people in your household you might have wanted to curse.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I would curse those folks today as well. Dylan, tell us something about yourself. What did you play as a child?
Oh, I would... I always had some yard dogs. We'd go tromping through the woods.
Some yard dogs?
Yeah, we would dig around the woods, roll old rotten logs over, find snakes and bugs. Of course, run from the snakes.
Okay.
Do a lot of exploring into the woods.
I think that's what a lot of us country kids did growing up.
Well, yeah, you'd find like an old outbuilding or, old dilapidated barn or something like that that'd been long forgotten deep in the woods. It'd be like a real discovery,
So my grandma lived on Buck Mountain, and at the very top of Buck Mountain is Ghost Town. So you could literally hike up to Ghost Town from her property or just walk up the road from where she lived. But behind her house, it was really steep woods, but there were all these giant boulders.
Oh, wow.
Just like tons of them everywhere. So it was always like really fun to go explore and play like around these big ass boulders with my cousins.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
You could play like you were knights, or we played witches. Sometimes we played pirates.
So, boulders are cool. And I'm sure as a child, you playing around those, your imagination could run wild.
Oh, yeah. Really fun.
All right.
I don't know why I was thinking about that. As an adult, I wish we still had play days.
In the springtime as it nears, I really think Mother Nature is on full display. It's the rebirth, the renewal. All the animals get very happy. The birds, the little squirrels.
I've seen so many little woodpeckers.
Yeah, I know. And we have
flying all around our neighborhood.
A family of deer that live in the neighborhood.
We do, yeah.
There's 4 or 5 of them. They're always out.
At night.
Yeah, and so they get excited to have made it through the long, cold winter, I'm sure. And, the little flowers start up, the grass greens, and the trees bloom, and, of course, then
hearing little frogs croaking.
Then pollen sets in for a month or two.
It doesn't matter because I've just been perpetually sinusy and allergic for like the last 3 or 4 years, so it doesn't even matter.
Snotty
pollen,
bitch.
No pollen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's get into discussing some crime news, Dylan. We have a wonderful recap for you.
Yeah, let's get to it. There is a lot going on.
A lot of weird shit. Like, I don't know what's going on in the world.
It's funny because obviously we have some world events happening at the moment, and it's overshadowing a ton of weird stories.
Weird stories. A suspect is in custody after 3 women were found dead in Wayne County, Utah. Multiple law enforcement agencies and the Salt Lake City FBI had launched a manhunt in several counties across the state, and the suspect has been identified as 22-year-old Ivan Miller from Blakesburg, Iowa. On Wednesday afternoon, authorities received a call from the husbands of 2 women who had found them dead on a hiking trail.
Damn.
Very scary shit. We have discussed some of these crimes that happen along the trail. Of course, mountain murders, it's unavoidable. It's so scary. I love to go hiking. I've solo hiked many a time. I don't mind to just pick up and go by myself on a trail. But to think that there's a murderer just waiting around the bend is quite frightening.
Well, yeah, you really are in a vulnerable position. Oftentimes you're far from help, or who knows if someone else might happen through that area. And not long ago in our area, a woman reported what she was classifying as an attempted assault.
Yes.
By two gentlemen on a walking trail right here
just
in town.
Just in a greenway.
Yeah.
A very popular walking area. A lot of bikers, cyclists, people walking their dogs, families. Super popular trail. She was just jogging along, and two masked men appeared out of nowhere, and she described them as having limbs, like tree limbs.
Oh, I was like, they have arms?
As if they were going to try to attack her. And so, of course, she's very scared, doesn't really know what to do. And another jogger approached, and it caused the men to scatter. But, she went to a county meeting demanding we need trail cams.
I agree.
And I agree. You have these green spaces. They're wonderful. I'm really glad when a community invests in parks and recreation. But then you have the crime element that comes along.
Yeah, I mean, you hear reports of the unhoused and people, kind of hanging out in some of these areas. And, no matter their story or why they're down and out, the rest of the citizens in a community have a right to feel safe, no matter where they go. And I think obvious surveillance, you can do it. You can get away. You can get a lot accomplished with signage and having some very obvious cameras. And just letting people giving people the feeling like they're being surveilled, even if maybe they're not being, as heavily surveilled as you're letting on, really helps to deter criminal activity.
Well, I don't want to bring about Big Brother, but we're already there. I mean, let's be honest. He's watching always. But just in the world we live in today, I mean, safety is a growing concern for a lot of people. They say crime is down, but we hear more and more about it, I guess, with our global access.
That's okay. I'll just walk the trail with my little buddy Smith & Wesson.
A third victim was later located at a residence in Wayne County, Utah. Authorities haven't identified the victims, but say their ages range from 30s, 60s, and 80s.
Damn.
So investigators believe that Miller killed the elderly woman in her home before taking her car to the trailhead where he killed the other two women. Then he abandoned the first car and fled the scene in another victim's car. Law enforcement tracked him through southern Utah into northern Arizona and eventually into Colorado. Colorado law enforcement located the vehicle abandoned in Pagosa Springs, Colorado, and after a brief search, police said they found Miller with a concealed handgun and a large knife. He was arrested for possession of concealed weapons. He was taken into custody without incident and transported to the Archuleta County Detention Center in Colorado, where he is currently being held. They do not believe Miller had any prior relationship with these victims. It was just completely random.
So it's pure, senseless, random violence, a spree of sorts. So those two gentlemen, it sounds like their wives are missing, like they've lost contact, and they know that they went to this trail to walk or something like that, and they go there to look for them and find them dead. How do you even react to something like that?
It's very frightening, Dylan. This area, there's actually 3 counties, Emery County, San Juan County, and Grand County, which is the home of the popular hiking destination of Moab Valley. So you have this area where there are lots of hikers. I mean, it's in proximity to Capitol Reef National Park and Canyonlands National Park.
I was going to say, is this an area that have things like canyons and gullies and gulches?
The Moab Valley is quite a popular destination for outdoors enthusiasts. Again, I mean, you've got predators. They're always going to prey where the people are, I suppose.
Well, it just goes to show I don't want to live in a state of hypervigilance to where I can't even enjoy myself. But you really do have to
Keep your head on a swivel.
keep your head on a swivel. And I think us and many of our listeners have an awareness, being true crime fans, that you really bad things can happen anywhere, anytime.
Yeah, I mean, anyone, anywhere can be victimized.
That's right.
You know, you don't have to be in a high-risk situation. And that's what makes it even more scary.
Well, no, yeah. I mean, most situations are very low risk until the shit pops off, right?
Yeah, Dylan, that's a great way to look at it.
Damn.
You're so smart.
So even if you're in a low risk situation, it can be a high risk situation in the turn of the blink of an eye.
Dylan, criminologist. Dylan, there's been this is a fucked up story.
Okay. More fucked up than the one you just told?
This is a fucked up story out of Cleveland. The other day, a dog walker found the bodies of 2 young females in suitcases in a wooded area.
Oh, you briefly told me about this, and it was very disturbing.
Right. Well, now a woman faces murder charges after those 2 young girls were found dead earlier this week. Aaliyah Henderson, 28, was charged with 2 counts of aggravated murder. Police officials confirmed that Henderson is the victim's mother. The bodies of the 2 girls were discovered Monday, March 2nd, in suitcases, as I mentioned, partially buried in shallow graves near Gin Academy by a dog walker. Officers who responded to the scene found a second suitcase nearby. The Cuyahoga County Medical Examiner's Office identified the victims as 10-year-old Amer Wilson and 8-year-old Mila Chapman, both of Cleveland. DNA testing previously confirmed that the victims, who were both black, are half-sisters. The medical examiner didn't release any more information at the time, stating that the cause of death in both of these cases is pending. But this 28-year-old woman has been arrested, and she is the mother of these girls.
So it sounds like the cause of death was their mother.
Police said
allegedly.
Police said a child was also located in the home where the mother was taken into custody, and that child was reportedly in good health and now in the custody of the Department of Children and Family Services. So, like I said, officials have not released the causes of death. The autopsies have been conducted. A lot of times, an autopsy can be completed, but it can take weeks or months or even years or more to get the autopsy report. So in a lot of these cases, you think, okay, when is an arrest going to be made? But they're often waiting on the report from the autopsy to come back.
Well, I understand that, but I mean,
it's kind of ridiculous.
Well, in a situation like this, I mean, here you have these 2 victims, these 2 kids, stuffed into suitcases.
And and investigators do believe that they have been buried for, quote, some time, although it is unclear exactly how long the girls' bodies were in this field before they were discovered.
So if you come across half-buried suitcases out in anywhere, or even a discarded one, are you going to be instantly suspicious?
Yeah, I'm not digging around in that suitcase.
No.
No.
You're going to contact authorities?
I've heard too many stories. Remember when those TikTokers discovered like a body in a suitcase?
Yeah.
Was that in Washington State?
Yeah, I believe so.
Years ago?
They were on a shoreline and they found it and were streaming. And of course, at first they're like, oh gosh, what if, something's in it? And then they like barely cracked it or poked it with a stick. And obviously a rancid smell came from it, and they called authorities. And sure enough, I was thinking of that as soon as you started describing this, because that kind of was a recent story that stood out in my mind. But I just don't know who could do something like this to your own children.
Yeah. Sadly, there are many cases like this, and we've covered a few of them here.
And see, they'll take something like this, and they'll offer this fucking monster a plea deal to like save cost for the county or some shit. And at what point do we stop offering these people plea deals? Recently, there was a local story. A man
Well, we're going to talk about that.
Yeah, when you talk about that, he's offered a plea deal, and I do not agree with it.
You want to get to that story?
Yeah, bring it up now because it's shocking.
A man accused of one of the deadliest murder cases in Spartanburg County has pleaded guilty. So this guy, James Douglas Drayton, who's 28, appeared in court on Friday. There he pled guilty to 5 counts of murder and 5 counts of possession of a weapon during a violent crime. The state sought out the death penalty against Drayton in 2024 if convicted, and in accordance with a negotiated guilty plea, Judge Gravely ordered that Drayton serve 5 consecutive life sentences. Officials said part of his guilty plea is that Drayton cannot appeal, file post-conviction relief actions, or state or federal writs. Under current South Carolina law, Drayton is not eligible for parole. However, in the event of law changes, Drayton cannot be paroled.
Right.
So let's get into this.
Wait, so even if the laws change, he still can't be paroled?
Right. So
Oh,
I'm not really
interesting.
sure what you mean about he got like a sweet deal. He didn't really.
He should have been put to death. That's my point.
Okay. Well, let's get into this. So this guilty plea was entered following an incident at a home on Bobo Drive in Inman on October 9th of 2022. There, Drayton shot 5 men, 37-year-old Thomas Anderson, 32-year-old Adam Morley, 59-year-old Mark Hewitt, 49-year-old James Baldwin, and 19-year-old Roman Rocha. Officials said several of these men were asleep or unaware they were even shot.
What a cowardly act.
Drayton stole Morley's car and drove to Georgia, where he committed an armed robbery and was arrested. Through a long extradition process and with the assistance from the governor's offices in Georgia and South Carolina, Drayton was brought back to Spartanburg finally on January 11th of 2024 to face charges for the 2022 crimes.
And so this man, I mean, I don't know what the deal was, if it was over some deal gone wrong or whatever. Obviously, he was angry. He goes to his home, kills everyone in it. Sounds like they were caught unawares by total surprise and destroyed and affected multiple families.
Multiple families.
And then drives to another state and commits another crime. And so he gets to live his life in jail. I mean, what are we doing here?
Where he gets commissary.
Yeah, he gets to make a life.
Radio, a TV.
Yeah, well, he
can
has
take some college classes.
Yeah, he can get multiple degrees. He can get his health care, dental care, 3 hots and a cot, and he has people advocating for his rights and blah this and that. And I just think it's unfair, and obviously it's not my call to make. If the families were consulted and agreed to this, they're right. But it's like, what even is the point of the death penalty if it's not sought after and used in a timely fashion? I just don't. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Well, I would like to know, and I'm sure there are people out there who will disagree with me. When are we going to start treating criminals like criminals while they're incarcerated?
Yeah.
Especially violent, dangerous criminals.
Yeah. I mean, honestly.
Like murderers and rapists. Now, if you're in there for pot or whatever, I don't care if you have a TV. I don't care if you can buy your ramen noodles. Hey, pop off, bud. But if you're a sex offender, you're a serial rapist, you're a murderer, you've killed 5 women, you killed 5 men.
You're a child killer.
You should have nothing.
You should have the bare minimum to survive.
You should be like in a dungeon with rats.
They should shoot you down.
I don't believe in this humanitarian, like, oh gosh, these are people, fuck them.
No,
If you've done some horrible thing, you deserve punishment for that. You don't deserve to get to watch TV and earn a college degree and get to hang out all day and work out and be with your friends. And I mean, fuck that.
Get visits. You don't deserve any of that. You forfeited all your rights and your humanity when you committed these atrocious acts on other people. And watching Locked Up Abroad, seeing some of these other prisons in other countries, I mean, that's what you need. You need some hellhole where a protein slab made out of insects comes, 3 times a day, and warm.
Yeah, you get like one of those loaves that they give you
Yeah.
when you're in solitary.
Yeah, a protein loaf that's disgusting on purpose. And you get some, shitty water that's maybe untreated. Maybe we just recycle your shit water right back into your sink. And I don't care about your rights.
I bet the recidivism rate would sure as fuck drop if these prisons were worse than they are.
I guarantee it. And I'm all for
Because I'm sorry, but right now I think that people purposefully, there are a lot of people out there who purposefully spend a life incarcerated because it's not that bad.
They don't have to do 9 to 5.
Don't have to pay bills.
Don't have to worry about their bills.
They can get drugs in prison.
They can, holler, get the CO if they're need medical attention.
There's a buffet of sex available, apparently.
Yeah, there's the butt pussies, I guess, is the way you would term them, if you're into that.
No, I was just, not necessarily. I mean, there are also women in women's prisons.
Won't you go ahead?
Which brings me to this thought, Dylan. We were watching like a documentary the other day on exploitation films, like cult films, exploitation films. And there was a whole thing, it seems like in the late 60s, early 70s with these B movies that were all centered around women's prisons.
It was so ridiculous. And it certainly was. There were many of them made. And it's really comical to watch, right? I mean, because
they try to be like sexy, but also there's some violence. But it usually results in like a cat fight where they end up making out or something.
Yeah, they always end up.
Is this men's fantasies? Are women in prison?
Well, I guess the women are. They're all corralled together, and in these men's fantasies,
and they just happen to be wearing like lingerie.
Yeah,
in the prisons.
And if they do fight, a boob's gonna pop out, and they're gonna end up making out in the end. Yeah.
Wearing garter belts.
Yeah.
In their prison cell. Yeah, it was like a whole thing.
No, it was a whole thing, and it was totally ridiculous.
It's totally ridiculous. You were correct. Let's discuss this for just a moment, Dylan. Britney Spears. She was arrested on Thursday for a DUI.
No.
Driving under the influence.
Now, I think the biggest shock here is that she was out of her house.
I think the biggest shock here is that you're rich, bitch. Call a fucking Uber. Right? I mean,
or
you
a driver,
you
a driving
can hire
service.
a driver. Like, what are you doing? Driving under the influence of anything.
She doesn't care, son.
She doesn't care.
She's a modern day James Dean. She's a rebel.
Now, this is what this is a source close to Britney told Page 6 after Britney was taken into custody, is that Kevin Federline's tell-all memoir, You Thought You Knew, sent Britney into a downward spiral that ultimately led to her DUI arrest on Thursday. So instead of blaming Britney for her actions, we're going to blame K-Fed for writing a book about her.
So it's K-Fed's fault.
That she decided to take drugs or whatever and get behind the wheel, yes.
We've talked about this before. He got a bad rap for many years as being like this.
Well, if anything, all this does is reinforce what he said in his book about her having these fucking issues, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, I think it's obvious now that
people who are like, he's lying. This is a money grab. I'm like, well, actually, it sounds like maybe he was telling the truth.
He's the more sane of the two by far. And, I've seen some stories with him. He has just a kind of a simple, nice home where he's doing what he can for the best he can for these kids involved. And, all the K-Fed hate is really, I think, total propaganda and bullshit.
I think it is too. And it's always, she's paid him all this money. And it's like, yeah,
she's paying child support.
Her children that she doesn't have custody of. And the whole point of that is to keep them in the lifestyle they would have if those children lived with you, but they don't.
Well, yeah, and it's been large amounts of money, but she had a large amounts of income, and nobody says anything about these football or basketball players that are paying $38,000 a month in child support. He needs to do that.
Well, so does she.
Well, yeah, but oftentimes when the roles are reversed, it's seen as, all of a sudden we want to talk about the income, the breadwinner is being exploited because she's a woman.
But the truth is, this source says, is that this all has been going on for a while, that Britney's behavior has become increasingly erratic in recent months, you think, and that she goes from being fine to not being fine. But that it was really Kevin's book that sent her over the edge, and it's been downhill from there. It really impacted her emotionally.
She was going down that hill long before he put this book out. I mean, come on. How long have we been talking about the Free Britney campaign? And the spinny and all the weird shit.
The knives.
Everything.
The weird smeared, I don't know what's up with the eye makeup.
The crazy eyes. The fact that she saved
the
all
terrible outfits. That's what's troubling to me. Every time I see her, I'm just like, is this really, did she put this together? Because this is the worst outfit of all time. And you have so much money, and this is the shit that you're wearing. It looks fucking terrible. I just want someone to please step in and dress this woman.
She saved all the clothes from the early 2000s. And even including the worst of the worst.
Yeah. I don't know. And then I've read reports where, you know, her spending is out of control with clothes. And I'm like, well, she sure as fuck isn't buying anything deep. Like, what is she doing? Is she going to a Charlotte Russe store that closed in like 2006 and she bought it out? Because this is just the worst clothes I've ever seen.
It's almost like she needs someone to be watching over her finances.
The source told us that Spears, quote, feels like she gave Kevin everything that he wanted over the years, paid him so much money, and he still exploited her with his memoir. Again, she paid him child support for their children because she didn't have custody of them.
You know, you got to stop hating on Britney.
I don't hate on her, but I just think she's been given way too much, like people are way too compassionate, almost to the point that it's not good with her. She obviously is troubled and needs help and supervision. And it's, oh, what they did to her. Well, we don't really know what they did to her. And it sounds like she needed something to be done to her, right? And just because her experience is telling you that she was like, they kidnapped me and drugged me and tortured me and tied me to a chair and did, can you really believe her? Because she's obviously got problems. And I honestly think a lot of what she says happened is exaggerated because she's mentally ill.
Yeah, but I also do believe that she was chewed up and spit out by the entertainment industry and system. I think being that young with, she shot up there to icon status as a very young woman and being sexualized and all these people celebrating, you know, gross men openly discussing on talk radio and stuff, you turning 18. And nowadays our version of that is she's 18.
She's got an OnlyFans.
Yeah.
And then she makes like $3 million in an hour.
That's disgusting.
It's really gross.
And I really think that affects anyone, especially a young woman in this society, in a bad way, and let alone the possible abuse or anything else like that could have happened. I mean, I think that affected her.
But I also think you have a lot of other stars in the same boat that didn't turn out like that. And I think, yes, she had these things happen to her, but I think that's happened to a lot of people across the board. But she has serious mental illness and she has addiction issues.
Right.
And so it's like a different story. Because Christina Aguilera was very young, thrust in the spotlight, kind of Britney's competitor, sexualized at a young age. And she hasn't really gone off the rails.
Well, it's just...
I mean, I'm just saying.
No, it's the rich people version of what we see with regular folks. It's two people that go through traumatic experiences, shitty childhoods, whatever it is. And you have the one person who's like, wow, I wish that hadn't happened to me, but I have to get my shit together and do the best I can for myself and grow and try to deal with these things in the best way possible. Or I can say, hey, these things happened to me. That's why I'm a big old piece of shit now. And I can't get my shit together. I mean, that's the two ends of the spectrum. And it's like,
well, the thing is,
quit using it as a crutch.
Well, yeah, a lot of us have problems, but not all of us are millionaires. Not all of us just sold our music catalog for like billions of dollars, right? So at least she's got some money, because the rest of us are just fucked up and we're poor.
Well, and it's even worse because
to be fucked up and broke.
You have all the resources to get the top-notch care of any type. You can have, you can surround yourself with people that's all about mental and physical health. And you have all the resources in the world to try every avenue you can to better your life, to better yourself. And you're choosing not to.
Right. And I just think I guess my point is just that she's proven to most of us who have eyes that she is seriously suffering from some type of mental issue and needs treatment and needs to take care of it. And she's obviously not taking care of herself and is choosing not to do those things. And I find her to be a very unreliable narrator of her story. And she can say this happened or this happened or this happened. Maybe it did. Maybe she is telling the truth. Or maybe that's just her interpretation of how it happened. But I just find her to be an unreliable narrator because she does have these issues and she continues to make bad choices and irresponsible choices and just seemingly spirals out constantly over, I mean, I don't give a damn if my ex writes a book about me. Write the fucking book, bro. I mean, she's Britney. Like, she's gonna have the Britney fans. Everybody's gonna shit on K-Fed. Like, that's just the nature of it. It's all Britney, and he's a piece of shit. And even if he is telling the truth, nobody cares. Nobody wants to listen. But it seems more and more that everything he said in that book is accurate. And she's not taking care of herself. But we're all supposed to just allow her to spiral out and be out of control and then believe everything that she says. I mean, it's just, for me, that doesn't really add up. I know that's a hot take.
Well, no, it doesn't add up. And I think she needed some oversight in her life. But I also think that her father did exploit his daughters, both of their fames, and was kind of living off that. So maybe he wasn't the proper person to be in a conservatorship over her. I think she needed an objective third party who had her best interests at heart to help her.
I agree with you. Yeah. I mean, I don't really know. I mean, I kind of remember when all that was out knowing about, but I've forgotten a lot of the details of the conservatorship. But yeah, I think her parents should probably not have been in charge of that.
No, because it seems to me like they were just also out to, kind of take care of themselves.
Well, I think in a lot of those situations, a third party is a better person to have in place than a parent or guardian, like some family member or some relative.
And the child stars and these big stars that come and they go and you never hear about them again. I was listening to this podcast about, they were actually talking about the Urkel effect back in the day, where Steve Urkel was just supposed to be a one-time, once or twice character, and he kind of took over the show, and it was...
Oh, my, yeah, Urkel. Talk about an icon.
Yeah.
It was Steve Urkel.
Family Matters, of course, and kind of took over the show, and he says, even the rest of the cast was kind of, at times aggravated with him because now it was all about him, and it wasn't the show that they really wanted to do in the first place. They wanted to be a little more serious about it. But what I'm getting at is his parents actually set him up in a way, took all his monies and invested them and set him up in trust and things to where to this day he's never had to, he's lived off Urkel money all his life. Even though he got typecast and could, and it affected him having other roles and doing more serious things as he grew up into an adult, which was a negative. But, I think the stars who have good parents, smart parents, who, use their money and invest it and save it and don't just try to exploit their kids for their own gain.
Well, I was going to say, I think it just goes to show that shitty parents are everywhere, whether you're rich or poor, right? So Britney was arrested for driving under the influence after she was spotted swerving her BMW in and out of traffic on Wednesday. So she was handcuffed by the California Highway Patrol in Ventura County around 9:28 p.m. and booked at 3:02 a.m. She was reportedly taken to the hospital to get blood drawn so officials could determine her blood alcohol content. She was released from police custody around 6:07 a.m. Thursday and has a court date scheduled for May the 4th.
Free Britney.
Yeah.
Now people can get their Free Britney t-shirts back out. But see, it's funny because the whole Free Britney crowd,
they awful quiet now.
They abandoned Britney after she was freed and was obviously deteriorating and having a really hard time in front of the public. And you still couldn't get people to say, wait a minute, we're worried about Britney. Maybe she needs some kind of help. They still won't even have that conversation. And it's weird how people act.
They also found some kind of substance that they have yet to identify, or they say they sent it off for testing.
Oh, yeah.
They found some unknown substance in her vehicle as well.
See, that's funny how they're being kind of, if that was just a regular person, they would have already they would have already said what they believe that substance to be.
Well, she was seen back in, if you remember, maybe you don't remember, Dylan, in October of 2025. There were videos of her like in a restaurant where she had a glass in her hand, like she was drinking alcohol. And then there were videos of her in her car, like people were filming her, and she did seem like she was kind of all over the road a bit. So it seems like maybe Britney drives under the influence often.
Well, Britney better cut that out.
It's not good.
It's not.
I mean, she could really hurt someone. I mean, not only yourself, but just an innocent person.
Well, yeah.
Family,
Well, yeah, drinking and driving is not a good thing to do.
Or driving under the influence of drugs. Like I tell you, where we live in an area where no matter where we go, we smell pot. People be smoking it up around here.
It's so bad. You'll just be driving down the road.
And you smell it.
And it comes through your air vents, like you're blowing the air conditioner or heat or whatever. And all of a sudden your car stinks very strongly of marijuana. And people are just blazing it up. And given the strength of marijuana nowadays, it's way, way stronger than what it was back in the summer of love and all that. And I'm all for people enjoying marijuana. I mean, I think you can do it. I think you can do it in a responsible manner. It can get a lot of benefits, even for a recreational drug. I think
you a green advocate.
Well, yeah, I can't partake anymore really with the work I do, which is very unfortunate. But honestly,
it's called being grown.
It's gotten so strong that, it's almost beyond what I want to ingest. It's just too much.
You can live vicariously through your mother.
It's too much. But what I'm getting at is it's certainly way too strong to be riding around your car smoking while you're operating a motor vehicle.
See, I have a theory. I want to get a grant and do a study. I think people are terrible drivers in this area, and we have like the most fatalities of any county in the state. And I think there's a correlation between the drug use and the bad driving.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's probably true to a degree.
So it should be studied.
And also, I think it's correlation between people's IQs.
But it's funny. I mean, I'll go to the grocery store, and man, it's like everybody in there smells like weed.
It's very strange to me.
Who got to hit a joint before you go in the damn grocery store? Like, just what are you doing?
Even when I was a daily smoker,
everywhere,
I would smoke at home. I would wait till I got home. Or if I had smoked some, I would wash my hands, maybe change my shirt. I didn't want to go around reeking of marijuana because I didn't want everybody to know that I just smoked pot. And it's like these people will sit in the parking lot and chief down before they go in the store, before they go in the gym. And who the hell wants to get high as hell before you go work out in the gym? Because that's like not very motivating. I was
going to say, I would be too tired to work out. I
just
want to go to sleep.
And that's why they sit around on the equipment, wasting everybody's time, in the way,
dumb,
looking at their phone for 15 minutes.
Okay, I got to tell you a funny story, and then I have a bit of a rant, and then we can get back to crime news. Since this is Heather's podcast, right? Everybody wants to hear what my thoughts are. No, I was in a restaurant the other day. I had a doctor's appointment, and you were already at home in bed after work. So I was by myself, and I went into this little breakfast joint that I had heard about, kind of like a little breakfast diner. So go in there and sit down at the bar because I'm by myself. And this couple comes in and the dude, I mean, they reek of pot. And this dude is fucking fried, man. His eyes are bloodshot red. And he sits down kind of catty corner from like where I'm sitting diagonally. So I can see him. And this dude is so baked and he's just like staring off into space, like totally stoned out of his gourd. And then it's like he will just be staring at me and I look over at him. But it's like he's so stoned, I don't think he's actually staring at me.
No,
he's just looking in my direction.
Staring through you.
Yes. But then when he realizes maybe that I see him, then he's like, oh, and kind of turns. But then he's just staring at like a sugar packet. Like the whole time he's in there. And it was kind of funny. But at the same time, I'm like, bro, it's like 10 a.m.
Yeah.
Like,
you got started early.
Got to come in here and get an omelet, I guess.
Maybe he's trying to like get straightened back up by eating.
And my other complaint is we were talking about the gym, right? What is up with people wearing their pajama pants to work out?
I don't know.
I've noticed this trend, and not to hate on the younger kids, but it's young people, and they're in there in like flannel pajama pants, sometimes in Crocs. They also want to take their shoes off and work out in their socks.
Because they saw it on TikTok.
I think is kind of gross, right? And then they don't wipe down the equipment either, which is also disgusting. I mean, the other day I watched an entire, the front of the gym was nothing but probably folks under the age of 22. None of them wiped down anything they used. Do they not care about ringworm and jock itch and like fungal infections?
It's disgusting.
It's so gross.
And again, I hate to, I don't know how many younger listeners we have, but I hate to pile on you, but it really does break along generational lines. And you'll see these conversations online. People like, oh, I'm not going to wipe. If you want to wipe it down before you use it, go ahead. But I'm not going to unless I'm, covered in sweat. And I'm not going to re-rack my weights. That's why people work at the gym. It is really just all these things.
It's you're a lazy asshole.
You're fucking lazy and you're disgusting. And that's why if I get, this is my personal experience, near or within 20 feet of a group of 5 or 6, 7 young people, and by young I mean anywhere from 18 to mid 20s.
They smell like ass.
I smell ass, bud.
They smell terrible.
And like,
do they shower?
How do you not tell your friend?
Is hygiene like not a thing?
I shouldn't be able to smell your body.
We would have bullied. See, that's why I'm glad that I grew up in like the 90s and shit, because we bully. I mean, if your friend stank, we bullied you. Get some deodorant like you're nasty. Maybe they just don't ridicule each other like they used to.
And so here you are stinking from 20 feet away, and you think, I want to come lay on a bench where you were just sweating and there's dandruff on it and all this other nasty shit. I mean, come on. It takes 2 seconds to wipe it down. But anyway.
Go grind on that bench in your pajamas. Yeah. And then you probably going to go, your nasty ass, probably going to go home and lay down in them same pajamas and go to bed.
And not even wash your hands or your ass.
Man, they probably ain't even like changing their sheets. So.
All right.
Okay, enough of that rant. Let's get into this. Why are people fucking weird? A tourist has been arrested for allegedly abusing a flamingo.
How?
Well, we're going to get
verbally?
Into that. Yes. He was like, fuck you, pinky.
Put your other foot down, you son of a bitch.
You pinky commie. Okay, so pinko commie. Now, around 6 a.m. on March the 3rd, the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department responded to the Flamingo Hotel and Casino after receiving a report of a man detained at the hotel after breaking into the accommodation's flamingo habitat and taking a bird.
Damn.
Authorities arrested the detained 33-year-old traveler from Ontario at the hotel and later charged him with 4 counts of felony animal abuse. I mean, what are we doing? You're in Vegas. You can't find something better to do than steal a flamingo and abuse it?
Well, I guess it's like something they think's out of the Hangover movie.
Well, police have surveillance footage from the incident that shows a man entering the hotel's flamingo habitat around 5 a.m. and grabbing a bird named Peachy by the legs. Police allege the man hurt other flamingos while forcibly removing Peachy from the habitat.
They came to Peachy's defense.
Police said the man wrapped the flamingo in a shirt and carried it to his room on the 14th floor of the hotel. The arrest report included descriptions of time-stamped hotel surveillance videos claiming the 33-year-old suspect was laughing and carrying the flamingo while the bird cried out. This just makes me mad. The footage also allegedly shows the man posing with the bird and grabbing it roughly by the neck.
Well, I mean, it's a really stupid thing to do, no matter where you're at, let alone in Vegas, probably one of the most highly surveilled areas in the world. They're obviously going to catch you.
You ain't getting away with shit there.
You're going to be on camera, and you think this is funny, but all you're doing is scaring this poor bird that's already locked up in a cage somewhere so people can look at it. And, yeah, I mean, it's an ignorant thing to do. I saw footage of, it was in some Asian country. It's like, child attacked by lion while feeding it.
A lion?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think it was a lioness that reached out and grabbed her because the male was trying to reach. But they had went over the barrier to right up to the bars of this big area, habitat, and the damn lion just reached out and grabbed.
It just did what lions do?
Yeah, there's meat. I'm going to eat it. And people are just standing around watching while they're trying to get this lion to let go of this kid's leg. And I'm just like, why in the hell did you walk up that close to where it could grab you? I mean, at that point, I think you deserve to be grabbed. And obviously the little kid should, not be put in that situation.
Well, her parents are stupid. Whoever had her at the zoo is stupid.
Well, yeah, all of y'all need to be taken out of a Darwinian theory, right? Because please.
Yeah.
If you're that dumb, you shouldn't be breeding.
I read some meme today, and maybe it's inaccurate, I don't know, but it was like, just remember when you're arguing with people on the internet that like 50% of people can't read like an 8th grade level book and comprehend it. So I've just got to start imagining when I'm like, what is wrong with people? Most of them probably can't even read an 8th grade book.
Well, it's like within these Epstein files, besides all the baggage that comes with that conversation, just the literacy, the intellect of these alleged billionaires and the elite, as they're described, really makes you wonder about how they obtained all their money and stuff. Because, I mean, you think, hey, somebody's a billionaire, they're at least like a really smart person, a super badass business person or whatever. And it seems to be that might not be the case. There's some theories of the Midas touch, that they're, put in these positions for various reasons, and that they're really not that smart or capable.
Why doesn't someone put me in a position for some various reason?
Yeah, but I mean, looking at the wording and the grammar and punctuation in these emails.
I know we already talked about these people are dumb as hell.
They're fucking dumb as a bag of rocks.
Them emails is something else.
For various reasons.
I imagine Epstein types with like his two fingers.
Yeah.
Like he never went to a typing class.
No.
Probably takes him like 30 minutes to type out a sentence. And then it's full of misspellings.
He doesn't care.
Well, the sad thing is they had to actually get a search warrant for this man's room and obtain like his cell phone, bedding, blood samples, and feathers. The man claimed he was drunk when interviewed by police. One of the flamingo's wings was clipped in the incident.
What the hell?
So I don't know what he did to this bird, but this guy, somebody needs to clip his wings.
Fuck this guy.
Yeah, I don't even know you, bro, but go back to Canada.
He was a Canadian?
Yeah, from Ontario.
Oh, they're supposed to be nice.
Well, apparently they're not all nice. Dillon, Kentucky has introduced a bill that would create a public registry for repeat domestic violence offenders.
Okay, that makes sense.
And it would provide basic information about their convictions. This is House Bill 773, would work similarly to the state's sex offender registry, allowing the public to search whether someone has a history of domestic violence convictions. And it would include information like their name, birthday, and a brief description of their crimes. The bill would only apply to offenders with 2 or more domestic violence convictions. Under the proposal, a second conviction would place an offender on the registry for 5 years, and a third conviction would extend that to 7 years, with additional time added for subsequent convictions. So if passed, the registry would apply to persistent offenders convicted on or after January 1st of 2027.
Okay, how do you feel about this?
Well, advocates say this registry could help identify patterns. I actually think that it's not a bad idea.
I think we should tattoo woman beater across their foreheads, or if it's the other way around, man beater.
Well, I mean, if somebody has multiple convictions with multiple partners, that obviously establishes a pattern, and you need to be able to prevent yourself from falling prey to this person. I mean, if you think about it, abusers, particularly like of this variety, kind of thrive on manipulation.
Well, yeah.
Right? And so a lot of times they lure a victim in, they love bomb them. It's like a great couple of months, and then the real personality comes out and they start abusing someone.
Well, yeah, but you should also pay attention to the red flags as they come, and when most of your friends and family are saying, hey, this guy's a piece of shit, maybe you should listen to him. But I do believe that I think you should make the criminal penalty more harsh for people who do this over and over. I mean, how do they keep getting away with it?
I know. Well, and we all know that like leaving is one of the most dangerous times for someone, like a survivor in these situations. And so I don't know, like, I just feel like there's got to be, there's probably going to be a little bit of gray area with this registry. And if you do find yourself, if, maybe you start dating someone and then you find out they're on the registry, I just wonder if leaving or breaking up with that person, or you stop seeing them, and if you say, like, I saw you on a registry, I mean, is that going to kind of become a thing? Because when somebody leaves them, that's when they really freak out. So I don't know. I mean, I think it's a good idea, but I also worry about people's safety in these types of situations.
Here's the problem that I see with it. And it is, this might be a hot take, but I've seen it a million times, and I think a lot of people have seen it. When the threat of being arrested for domestic violence is weaponized and used against men who are not assaulting the women, or it's just, all you got to do is go to court on the day when they have these types of cases, and you will see 90 out of 100 times that the people either don't show up to press charges, or they're already back together. The couple's literally there
together.
I've seen the judge be pissed off,
holding hands,
because the victim is there with the perpetrator, holding hands, sitting in the back of the court, and really just kind of wasting everyone's time. They won't follow through, and often it is not out of fear or anything like that. It's just because they're caught up in this toxic relationship, and they still want to be part of that toxic relationship, and it's a bunch of bullshit. And you also have in many cases, women that accuse a man of this just because they're mad at him, and he ends up in this court.
Well, yeah, but you have to have, multiple, it's multiple.
No,
situations
I understand.
With multiple accusers, so
and multiple convictions, I'm sure.
So I don't think that, that's a common thing. One, I think that's not totally common. I mean, I do think that's kind of the exception to the rule, if you will, that happens. And I also think, it would be pretty hard for 3 or 4 or 5 women to just conspire against a man to get him on a registry for being an abuser. I mean, if he's on there, it sounds like he deserves to be on there.
Well, yeah, but like I said, he should be in jail for 25 years. If you do this type of violence towards a woman, man versus woman, I think it's super.
And I think what we don't talk about enough, not to interrupt you, is female on male violence.
It does happen.
Because it happens, and a lot of times police do not take it seriously. They will laugh at a man. They treat him like, well, you're a pussy. You let this woman beat you up.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's
they don't
not
take
okay,
it seriously.
Because women are instigators too, and women are violent as well. And we've discussed on the pod same-sex couples and domestic violence and how prevalent that is. And it's just something that kind of gets swept under the rug.
So, but I do think modifications to law and procedure could really help a lot of these real victims in these situations. Like if you do have, let's say you do have a man who has this on his record, known violence, proven violence, with pictures, proof, statements from, authorities, advocacy groups. We know this guy's dangerous. Once the victim decides to leave them, because we've often discussed how, protection orders and things like that are literally just a piece of paper. They don't seem to take them seriously. Like you can call and say, hey, he's outside my door violating it.
You need to come down to the clerk's office.
Well, you need a show to cause.
And file,
yeah.
And then we'll go to court
We'll
in a
make another
week
court date.
Yeah.
No, what should happen once it reaches that
You
point
need to come shoot this maniac out of my tree.
is they come or you say, however it would work. I know it would be, have to work out the nuts and bolts. I want to leave. He's dangerous. They should come and find him. And I'm talking full-on manhunt. Put him in jail. Hold him there for months, be it 3 months or whatever, to give her time enough to untangle financially, whatever, get her shit together, and get away safely. And then let the piece of shit out. Or go ahead and put him in jail for a long time. But do more to protect women's what I'm saying. It really needs to be beefed up. Protection orders need to have teeth.
Well,
if
see,
you
I
violate
think in some
that,
states, if you violate a protection order, they come get you, they lock your ass up.
well, that's
for
what
like
they should.
48 hours or whatever.
Well, it should be more than 48
well,
hours.
I think they lock you up and then you have to go to court before the judge and all that. But in some states, it's like, oh, well, you have to file a complaint and then we have to do, show cause and we have to get this court date. And it's just a joke.
Right. And then you go in court and you're like, I want resolution today. And all they want to do is continue it or put it off because they want to go play golf before 5. It's bullshit.
It is. It's
Sorry.
just not taken seriously enough.
It's not.
So it'll be interesting to follow that and see like what Kentucky ends up doing. Because again, I think it's a good idea, but I always think of like what would the negative be, and that would be like if you did meet someone and go on a couple dates with them and then you stop seeing them, and if you admitted it's because I saw you on this registry, is that going to create an unsafe an unsafe situation for you?
Right.
Which, I mean, that shouldn't be the case, but...
No, because, if you're caught up in these situations where you do have to defend yourselves and say you kill that piece of shit, even if you have a successful defense, that can really affect your life negatively. With the money and all the rigmarole of going through, trial and being accused of murder and having to prove it's self-defense. It's just it's a bad situation, even if you win.
You're right, Dylan.
Yeah.
Thank you for that point.
You're welcome. And
just really driving it home for us.
Yeah, I'm pounding it in there. All right, so you think we've ranted enough today?
This flamingo guy still got me fucked up.
Out of all we've talked about, that's
I'm just saying.
Poor defenseless bird.
Yeah, that bird was not asking for trouble. That bird was just trying to be.
That bird shouldn't be caged up in a habitat in fucking Las Vegas.
I guess just drunk idiots like doing shit like this. That's not an excuse. They need to break off this man's wing. Like, break his arm and shove it up his ass, and we'll see if he likes it.
Well, what other time, because I was drunk, is that a defense for anything?
It's not really a good defense. It's not going to be Britney's good defense either.
Because I was drunk.
Because I was just driving home drunk, guys.
Because of that book, the memoirs, someone writes a story about what happened in their life, and it really sent me. Come on.
People care too much what others think. Because, like I said, I don't give a damn. You want to write a memoir about me? Tell all my dirty secret? I don't care. I'm an open book. I go ahead and tell you my dirty secrets.
Yeah. I will champion your book when you write about me. I'll be like, fuck yeah, I did that.
I will go on a book tour with you.
I'll write the afterword.
Well, I will start a book club on Patreon, and we will read the book together.
And the afterword, I will be like, yeah, on page 39, I did that shit. And I'd do it again.
Yeah.
That's right.
Shitted on them. It's the title of my book. All right, Dylan. Well, thank you for sitting down with me today to discuss some crime news. I know we are often a bit much, but you know what? People want authenticity, Dylan. People are tired of the fake and the plastic and the polished. Everything's perfect. Nobody wants that shit. They want the nitty gritty. They want the raw, the real, and we're here to give it to them.
That's right. They want the old stanky side of podcasting.
Well, I don't know. You don't have to use. We're going to get you a thesaurus.
Yeah.
Everything has to be stanky. But we're going to give you the real here. You know
Well, no,
what I mean?
it is the real. We were discussing this. Everyone's on the podcast now. You have all these celebrity. Everybody has a podcast, and I can sit around with my celebrity
Podcast awards, and it's all going to celebrities and their friends.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but podcasting, and I told Heather, I do listen to some highly produced, very sophisticated podcasts, things like Business Wars or Dateline, things like this, and they have their place. But for the most part, podcasting, I expect a little grit, a little grime. It doesn't have to be perfect.
You don't want it to be perfect and polished. You don't want a sound studio.
No.
I mean, I don't.
No.
The whole point of podcasting was like do it yourself, average person at home, right?
Right. It's about access.
Being relatable.
And all that, and you might hear a siren or an ambulance go by or the cat in the background or something like that, but I really think that's part of the charm.
Yeah, one of my favorite podcasts, the cats are constantly in the background meowing or causing a disturbance, and I find it charming when that happens. So.
No, I do think the podcaster has a responsibility to try their best, and we've had issues at times, but to try to get your audio quality up to at least a certain level to be, semi-decent.
Listeners really care about this part. I was just trying to say, we're real, we're authentic, we're just ourselves.
That's
And
right.
I think people want real these days, Dylan.
Yeah.
I know I sure do.
Well, in a world of facades, you got to keep it real.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to listen to a celebrity sit down with their celebrity friends and talk about celebrity things. It's
No.
like you're really out of touch.
You are.
I want to hear someone who has, problems and they tell me about it sometimes.
Yeah, and they're in a converted,
Hey, we're recording this in a closet. Awesome.
1,000
Good
square
for you.
foot room in their mansion, with $100,000 worth of equipment and cameras and shit.
Man, we hating on them right now.
Damn. All right.
Okay, Dylan.
Till next time.
Bye.
Bye.